Tired of your car insurance rate going up even with a clean driving record? You're not alone. That's why there's Jerry, your proactive insurance assistant. Jerry compares rates side by side from over 50 top insurers and helps you switch with ease. Jerry even tracks market rates and alerts you when it's best to shop. No spam calls, no hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Switch with confidence. Download the Jerry app or visit jerry.ai/ACAST today.
Hey, this is Paige DeSorbo from Giggly Squad, and today I want to talk to you about Boost Mobile. Quick question, why are we letting our phone bills bully us? Here's a money tip. Stop paying a carrier tax. When you bring your own phone and switch to Boost Mobile's $25 unlimited forever plan, you can unlock up to $600 in savings. That's real-life money, not money trapped in a pricey phone bill. $600 is a trip, a shopping spree, or paying something off. Your money belongs in your life. You get unlimited data, talk, and text for $25 a month with no contracts and no minimum line requirement. Your phone, your rules. Head to boostmobile.com to switch today and unlock the savings you actually deserve. After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience lower speed. Customers pay $25 per month while active on Boost Mobile Unlimited plan. Savings claim based on a January 2026 Boost Mobile survey comparing average annual payments of major carrier customers to 12 months on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan. Visit boostmobile.com for details.
Most all-in-one HR systems are a patchwork of disconnected and manual tools. Rippling is totally automated. If you promote an employee, Rippling can automatically handle necessary updates, from payroll taxes and provisioning new app permissions to assigning required manager training. That's why Rippling is the #1 rated human capital management suite on G2, TrustRadius, and Gartner. If you're ready to run the backbone of your business on one unified platform, head to rippling.com/AcastBiz and sign up today. That's RIPPLING.com/AcastBiz to sign up.
Mom, I like to propose a dinner optimization plan for 2026. Soccer practice every week. Get back late and you're stressed out about making something fast, but actually nutritious for dinner. When Ashley's mom picked me up, I noticed that she made Blue Apron. It came in like a little kit. By the time it was ready, I still had shin guards on. And it was real food, fresh veggies, protein, actual flavor. Take her from the younger generation. We're innovators, keeping a couple Blue Apron meals around. Not the worst idea.
Get $50 off your first 2 orders plus free shipping with code STIR50. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
Most all-in-one HR systems are a patchwork of disconnected and manual tools. Rippling is totally automated. If you promote an employee, Rippling can automatically handle necessary updates, from payroll taxes and provisioning new app permissions to assigning required manager training. That's why Rippling is the #1 rated human capital management suite on G2, TrustRadius, and Gartner. If you're ready to run the backbone of your business on one unified platform, head to rippling.com/AcastBiz and sign up today. That's RIPPLING.com/AcastBiz to sign up.
Hello, I'm Sarah, and welcome to the Whispering Woods listener and Reddit story episode. For the next couple of weeks, I am just going to do the old style audio of these episodes because without saying too much and going all into it, I've got some stuff going on at home with the family. I still want to put the episodes out, but I'm just finding it quite challenging at the moment. But I don't want to lay all of that on you, so we're just going to get straight into it. Are you ready for the first story? I don't really believe in ghosts, but I can't explain this. From B. Chuck. I work as an apartment maintenance man. One of our tenants would constantly complain about hearing banging on his walls at night. The lady that was actually in the other room always denied that it was her. Since there was no proof, we couldn't really do anything about it. That, and the person that made the claim, was known not to be completely mentally well. This specific apartment complex was exclusive to the elderly and mentally ill, so that wasn't uncommon. Eventually, the lady that was living next door moved out, and it's my job to get the place cleaned up. Most days that I went in there, everything was normal. On one of the days where I was finishing up though, something happened. And I still can't come up with a logical explanation for it. On that day, when I went into the room, I felt a shiver go down my spine. It wasn't really colder in that room, but my body still felt cold the moment I walked in. It was like there was this pressure on me the whole time. I worked through the day like that, expecting it to eventually go away, but it never really did. Now, if that had been all that had happened to me, I would have chalked it up to me just not feeling that great that day. Stuff similar to this has happened before. It wasn't until the end of the day that something truly strange happened. To better explain this, you need to know the layout of the rooms. The front door to the room that leads out to the hall has about an inch gap on the bottom. Enough to where I could fit my hand mostly under it if need be, just not the whole way. The windows to the room are also on the north side of the building that the sun rarely gets to. There's usually a big shadow on that side of the building because of it. So anyway, I was moving my tools and stuff out of the apartment when I had a good few steps out of the place. I felt an urge to look back. I don't know why I felt this urge, but I did. When I looked back though, I froze. Under the door, I could see the shadow of what looked like 2 feet standing in front of the door. You'd only see that shadow if someone were within a few feet of the door. Obviously no one was there. I had been working in there the whole day. I tried to rationalise that there must be something either in the room or outside that was reflecting into the room like that. That is, until I saw the legs start moving as if they were walking away. I'm happy to say that I didn't do what most people would. I briskly walked away. I eventually went back later, not to check the room, but to check the outside area. I thought someone must have walked by the window outside and that's what I saw. But remember how I explained the layout of the building? Someone's shadow couldn't have reflected inside. The sun was high up in the sky at that time, and the shadow was still very prevalent because of the overhanging roof. The sun wouldn't have been behind whoever would have been there, so it couldn't be that. The only explanation I can come up with is that someone was shining a light and it somehow ended up looking like that. Other than that, I can't rationalise it. I really don't know what I saw. To answer a few questions you people might have, yes, lots of people have died in this building before. It comes with the fact that 80% of the people here are elderly. As far as that room specifically, I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone has died in there. And no, the guy who initially made the complaint hasn't made one since. Who knows? Maybe the ghost was an ableist and didn't like the lady that was living there. She lost her legs, so she was always in a wheelchair. Makes it almost ironic that the legs are what I saw. I think in places that people kind of die a lot in, for want of a better phrase, they can have that feeling, can't they? Because my mum, she always worked in an elderly person's home. And the people, they were 80s, 90s. Some with dementia, not anything challenging. But there was always that feel that because of those corridors, I don't know if it's the same in other countries, but in this sort of council-run homes that people would go to, There's kind of lino on the floors that squeaks, and there's just this feel to an elderly person's home that I find personally quite unpleasant. And that mixed with everything else, it's just not my cup of tea. And I could imagine some spirits just not willing to let go and hanging about. So that is spooky, and I don't know what I think. Scary stuff. I'd be out of there, running. Sorry, I'm going to find another job. Are you ready for the next story? Grandad's house in Slovakia. Rich Gessie. This story is the worst experience I've had. I get chills just thinking about and writing it here. It was July 2016, and the new Call of Duty Zombies map, Gorod Krovi, was released, and I, the Zombies nerd, had to play it all night and spend my summer holiday playing it every night till about 4 or 5 a.m. I played in the living room as my granddad was doing renovations upstairs, putting a new floor in and plastic windows. While I was playing, I got to round 24, and I finally figured out how to hatch the egg for my little dragon buddy. After I got the little dragon, I decided to take a break and went into the kitchen. After feasting on food that would feed a small group of Vikings, I headed back to the living room. Now, due to the work being done upstairs and not wanting dust and cold air coming down to the living room and downstairs bedrooms, my granddad put a big, thick blanket there. You know, the ones with like a tiger or leopard on them. I could see this blanket covering the stairs from the corner of my eye. As I sat down to play again, I saw the blanket move. Now, that's not unusual. As I said, they were changing the windows up there, so a draft was expected. But the blanket moved very weirdly. It was as if a head was pushing outwards. I watched this blanket move forward and watched as the head turned its head and shoulders, and it started looking around. I could see this thing's nose pointing in different directions. I stood up, and the thing pulled back. I pulled the blanket off and looked up, and I saw a pair of feet running up the stairs. I couldn't hear the footsteps though. I watched them get to the landing, turn and run. I was horrified, and I still am. I hate this experience because I was so close to it. Closer than any other experience. I could feel this thing. It was cold and it made me feel queasy. Needless to say, I played zombies all night and didn't fall asleep until the sun was shining brightly. I told my granddad about what had happened, and he said it may have been a burglar that climbed in through the top windows and wanted to come downstairs, but I scared him off. I'd love to believe that. But the thing I saw had bare feet. It was grey and quiet. I had a bit of a physical reaction to thinking about that thing poking through the blanket. I really found that quite freaky. And the nose pointing this way and that. Oh no, it gave me the heebie-jeebies. Didn't like that at all. Are you ready for the third story? Strange experience last night on our farm. And this is from Nadir Harat. I live way up in the north woods of Wisconsin, 20 minutes to Lake Superior. Very isolated. We have like 80 acres of dense forest/fields. We see wolves, coyotes, porcupine, etc. regularly. We have a hobby alpaca farm. And last night, our guardian dog, who lives with the alpacas, was barking like crazy. Definitely different than his normal, made eye contact with a deer bark. We go to our son's room and open the window, closest to the barn. and my husband says he hears 2 dogs barking. I listen. I definitely hear my dog, and then his echo, and then another dog barking. I then, without a doubt, hear, people, like a group of people chatting socially, the sounds of music and laughter. I just stood there, utterly confused about what I was hearing. Husband said he didn't quite hear the same thing, but heard strange sounds he couldn't identify. He went out and our dog ran over, tail wagging and happy to see him, then ran back far into our fenced-in alpaca field to keep barking his head off. Husband says he didn't hear anything while he was outside. Dog calmed down and stopped barking about 20 minutes later. These very isolated places, I don't know if you've watched Terror in the Woods, but it reminds me of that. And they tell stories about these really isolated places where strange things go on. And there is one, it's quite an infamous case about werewolves, and I will cover it at some point. But it's just uncomfortable, because I'd love to live in the middle of nowhere so I don't have to talk to anybody. But there's the isolation, isn't there? And if something goes wrong, you're kind of stuck, aren't you? Like when the werewolves come, you're stuck. What can you do? I tell you, you can't take the city out of a girl. Are you ready for the next story? I lived in a haunted house when I was a kid. Lane violation. My mother and I moved in with my grandmother to her horse ranch when I was 9. To this day, she still claims one of the worst things she ever did was give me the upstairs right room instead of the left. There was a walk-in attic attached to the left bedroom, and something about the room in the attic gave my mother a bad feeling. Mostly things were normal in the beginning, but at night, really quietly, I could hear what I thought sounded a lot like a baby. It sounded so far away, it could have been from outside. In the morning, I asked my grandmother about it, and she said someone must have goats near enough to hear. I shrugged it off. Some months later, I'd come home, and my radio would be changed to a completely different station than when I left. I asked everyone if they'd been in my room, and they said no. Then at night, my lamp would turn on and be on when I woke up, without any memory of me turning it on. I started to get really afraid of the attic, so my grandfather agreed to install a lock on the attic door in my bedroom because it had begun to open at random intervals when no one was in the room. One morning, my grandmother was staring out at the pastures through the kitchen window when she told me to come and take a look. My grandfather was walking across the field with a bucket of water, and he was talking to himself. When he came inside, my grandmother asked what he was doing, and he said he was talking to Mr. Lessiter, very matter-of-factly. Then he realised what he said and laughed, and said he swore there was a man walking with him, even though now he knew it was crazy. The mares that were in heat would all be turned out in the same pasture and gather under the only tree there. After a year or so, they kicked up enough dirt to reveal headstones poking out. We discovered someone had bush hogged over the whole thing and sold it. It had been an old family plot, with 2 deaths at childbirth. The old barn across the street, a stone's throw, had also been the site of a suicide by hanging, only 60 years before, we learned at some point. On my bus, I was always the first to be picked up and the last to be dropped off. But one morning, a kid was on the bus when I got on because the bus had to take a different route. He told me to sit by him and rushed into telling me that his family used to live there. We talked about it for a minute, And then he paused and asked, "What room do you have?" I told him which one. And then he looked down and back up at me and asked, "Does anything happen in that room?" My hair still stands up to this day when I tell that story. I later moved away and have never experienced anything like it since. Coincidentally, there were 2 stories there about ranches and farming. I can see this place in my mind's eye. And that is spooky, because I think you'd remember turning a light on. Because wouldn't you have to be somewhat awake to turn the light on? I imagine that you would be. It's not a load of activity, but it's that kind of activity that makes you question yourself. Did that happen? Was that me? And that's the kind of experience I imagine that I've had loads of times, but I don't really notice because I just think, yeah, that was me. Spooky. Are you ready for the 5th and final story? Laughing Little Man by Patty4170. I guess I'm posting in the correct place. Anyway, I'm 70 years old and can still remember a story my mum talked about. She says that when I was about 5 years old, she caught me at our front door looking out and crying and mad at the same time. When she tried to console me and wanted to know what I was crying about, I told her that a little man was peeking from behind the big plum tree in our front yard. I told her that he was teasing me and sticking his tongue out at me. I said that he looked like Jimmy Cricket. She said I was hysterical, and I insisted that he was there, jumping out from behind the tree, teasing me. Of course, my mum didn't see it, but she was so scared at the episode that she called my dad and told him to come home, which he did. The more I was teased by this thing, the louder I cried. I suppose little kids do see things.
Are you noticing your car insurance rate creep up even without tickets or claims? You're not alone. That's why there's Jerry, your proactive insurance assistant. Jerry handles the legwork by comparing quotes side by side from over 50 top insurers, so you can confidently hit buy. No spam calls, no hidden fees. Jerry even tracks rates and alerts you when it's best to shop. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Don't settle for higher rates. Download the Jerry app or visit jerry.ai/ACAST today.
Most all-in-one HR systems are a patchwork of disconnected and manual tools. Rippling is totally automated. If you promote an employee, Rippling can automatically handle necessary updates. From payroll taxes and provisioning new app permissions to assigning required manager training. That's why Rippling is the #1 rated human capital management suite on G2, TrustRadius, and Gartner. If you're ready to run the backbone of your business on one unified platform, head to rippling.com/AcastBiz and sign up today. That's RIPPLING.com/AcastBiz to sign up.
Just a little one there to freak you right out. Imagine that. Oh, no, I can't. Oh, dear, that's going to give me nightmares. Imagining something because I've got a plum tree in the garden. No thanks. But that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you again on Sunday. Take care, everyone.
Bringing your business dreams to life takes heart and about 1,000 decisions a day. That's why Atlantic Union Bank's knowledgeable bankers are here for you with the right guidance and customized solutions to help you reach your business goals. So whether you're planning your next move, upgrading your space, or scaling to meet demand, we make sure your business is ready for what's ahead because we're big enough to support you, yet small enough to know you. Atlantic Union Bank. Any way you bank. When you invest with Fidelity Go, it does all the work for you. So while Fidelity Go monitors the markets, rebalances your portfolio, and tracks your progress to keep your investments aligned with your goal, you can invest your time however you want, all while paying no advisory fees under $25K. Invest your money, not your time, with Fidelity Go. Get started at fidelity.com/go. Advisory services offered by Strategic Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Brokerage services provided by Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE and SIPC.
The stories told on the Whispering Woods are inspired by historical records, witness reports, and local folklore. While every effort is made to research and represent events accurately, some details, names, and locations may differ from official accounts or have been changed out of respect for those involved. These episodes are created for storytelling and entertainment purposes and should not be considered definitive fact or investigative journalism.